I've got you now.
The first time people mocked Onyi for loving Emeka,
I love you.
She laughed and ignored them. The second time, she smiled and walked away.
Thanks to the same today.
But when the whole market began calling her a fool, even her smile started to crack. Every morning before sunrise, Onyi carried a basin of fresh fish to Ariara Junction Market in Aba.
Yes, look at this catch.
Rain or sunshine, she was always there. Her hands smelled of fish. Her wrapper was often stained with water from melted ice. Her feet were rough from standing all day. Yet, every evening, she counted her earnings carefully and sent most of the money to her husband. School fees, textbooks, hostel rent, project work. Because the husband was in the university, there was always something to pay for, and Onyi always found a way. One afternoon, Mama Nkechi, another trader, shook her head as she watched Onyi packed fish. Onyi, this boy will finish school and forget you. And the other woman laughed. Forget? He will deny her completely. Lawyer Ke, he will marry one big grammar-speaking woman. The women burst into laughter. Onyi smiled. My Emeka is not like that. Mama Nkechi clicked her tongue. They all say that. Onyi ignored them. Because she remembered the night Emeka made a promise. Years earlier, they had sat under a leaking zinc roof while rain poured outside. Water dripped into buckets placed around the room. The electricity had gone off. The room was dark except for a small lantern. Emeka held her hands. His eyes were wet. Onyi, if I ever become somebody in this life, it will be because of you. She laughed. You will become somebody. No. He squeezed her fingers. I mean it. His voice trembled. One day, I will wear a lawyer's gown. And when that day comes, the whole world will know what you did for me. Onyi had believed every word. And for years, she sacrificed everything. When school fees increased, she borrowed money. When landlords threatened him, she paid. When he needed law textbooks, she sold her gold earrings. When examination fees came unexpectedly, she sold the last piece of land her father left her. Nobody knew, not even Emeka. She told him the money came from business. The truth was buried deep in her heart, but seeing him succeed mattered more. Years passed. Slowly, Emeka moved closer to his dream. Every semester felt like a victory. Every exam result brought celebration. Then, one hot afternoon, a phone call changed everything. Onyi was arranging fish when her phone rang. She answered. Silence. Then Emeka's voice exploded through the speaker. Onyi? She smiled immediately. What happened? I passed. The fish basin nearly fell from her hands. You passed what? The final exams. For a moment, she couldn't breathe. People gathered around her. What happened? Why are you crying? Onyi was already dancing. My husband. She laughed and cried at the same time. My husband is now a lawyer. The entire market erupted. Women hugged her. Some even cried with her. That evening, she closed her stall early. She bought rice, she bought chicken, she bought drinks. For the first time in years, she spent money without counting every naira. When Emeka returned home days later, the whole compound celebrated. Music played, neighbors danced, children ran around shouting, "Barrister, barrister!" Emeka stood proudly among them. His future had finally arrived. As the celebration continued, he raised a glass. Everyone became quiet. He looked directly at Onyi, his eyes filled with emotion. Everything I am today is because of this woman. The crowd cheered. Onyi lowered lowered her head shyly. Emeka continued, I will never forget what she has done for me. The applause grew louder. At that moment, everyone believed him, including Onyi. Unfortunately, some promises sound sincere when spoken, but success has a way of testing every word. And somewhere in the crowd that night, a sleek black SUV pulled up briefly before driving away again. Inside sat a beautiful woman dressed in red. She watched Emeka through the window. Then she smiled, a slow, calculating smile. She had no idea who Onyi was, but before long, she would become the greatest threat to Onyi's marriage, and neither woman knew it yet. The mysterious woman in red has noticed Emeka, and the moment success enters his life, temptation follows. Will Emeka remember his promise, or will the world he dreamed of begin to change him? Don't go away. 3 months after Emeka became a lawyer, life began to change. At first, the changes were small, very, very small. The old motorcycle disappeared. A new car arrived, The tiny rented apartment suddenly felt too cramped. Emeka started, wearing expensive suits. As a lawyer he is. His phone never stopped ringing. Clients came from different cities. Money began flowing in. And for the first time in their marriage, Onyi felt relieved. All the years of suffering seemed worth it. One evening she sat outside their house, smiling as she watched children play. Her neighbor Mamugo walked over. You look happy. Onyi laughed. Shouldn't I be? Mamugo nodded. You deserve it. For a moment, Onyi closed her eyes. She imagined the future where she and Emeka would finally enjoy the rewards of their sacrifice. No more debts. No more humiliation. Little did she know that while she was planning a future with Emeka, another woman had already started planning one without her. The woman in red was named Sandra Okafor. Beautiful, educated, wealthy, connected. She was the daughter of a powerful businessman in Lagos. Sandra was used to getting whatever she wanted, and recently, she wanted Emeka. The first time they met was at a legal conference in Enugu. Emeka had been invited to speak. Sandra sat in the front row as he spoke confidently before the audience. She couldn't take her eyes off him. Handsome, intelligent, ambitious, exactly her type. After the event, she approached him. Barrister Emeka, she smiled politely. Yes, you were impressive. Thank you. I am Sandra. She extended her hand. The moment their hands touched, something shifted. Not love, not yet, but temptation had entered the room. That night, Sandra searched for him online. His achievements, his law firm, his interviews, everything. But one thing puzzled her. There was no mention of a wife. No wedding photos. No family pictures. Nothing. She smiled. Interesting. Weeks later, Sandra and Emeka began seeing each other regularly. Business meetings, lunches, conferences, networking events. The relationship remained professional, at least initially, but each meeting pulled them closer. Sandra introduced him to wealthy clients, powerful politicians, business executives, people who could open doors, and Emeka loved every minute of it. For the first time, he felt accepted into a world he had already admired from a distance, a world of luxury, a world of influence, a world where nobody smelled of fish. One Saturday morning, Onyi prepared breakfast. She placed the food on the table. Emeka barely touched it. His attention remained fixed on his phone, smiling, typing, smiling again. Onyi watched him. Who are you chatting with? Emeka looked up quickly. A client. Oh. Something felt strange, but she ignored it. Marriage required trust. At least that was what she believed. Days later, Emeka attended a high-profile charity gala in Port Harcourt. Sandra insisted he accompanied her. The venue looked like a palace. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling. Luxury cars filled the parking lot. Every guest looked rich. Every guest looked important. Emeka felt proud to be there. Then it happened. A businessman approached Sandra. His eyes landed on Emeka. Who is this lucky man? Sandra smiled. Barrister Emeka. The businessman laughed. No, I mean, who is he to you? Sandra glanced at Emeka. Emeka hesitated. Just for a second. 1 second. That was all. Then he answered. We are getting to know each other. Sandra's smile widened. The businessman nodded approvingly. And your wife? Emeka froze. The question hit him like a slap. Images flashed through his mind. Onyi in the market, Onyi carrying fish, Onyi counting crumpled naira notes, Onyi wearing faded wrappers. For a moment, shame crept into his heart. Then he made a choice, a terrible choice. The businessman waited, Sandra waited, everyone waited. Finally, Emeka forced a smile. I am not married. The words left his mouth smoothly, but somewhere deep inside, something cracked. The next morning, he returned home. Onyi welcomed him with excitement. She hugged him, asked about the trip, served him food, told him stories from the market. Emeka barely listened. His mind remained elsewhere, in hotel halls, luxury parties, executive meetings. Sandra. The more successful he became, the more Onyi began to look like a reminder of the life he wanted to forget. And that frightened him. Because deep down, he knew exactly who had carried him to the top. One evening, while cleaning his jacket, Onyi discovered something, a receipt. It had fallen from his pocket. She picked it up casually, then her smile vanished. It was a receipt from a luxury hotel, 2 guests, a presidential suite, 1 room, 1 weekend. The names were clearly printed. Sandra Okafor, Barrister Emeka Obi. Onyi stared at the paper. Her hands began trembling. Her heart pounded violently. The room suddenly felt smaller, hotter, darker. She read the receipt again and again and again. No matter how many times she looked, the names did not change. For the first time in years, fear entered her heart. Real fear. The kind that keeps a woman awake all night. The kind that whispers, something is terribly wrong. She slowly sat down, tears gathered in her eyes. But she did not cry, not yet, because she needed answers first. What she didn't know was that the truth was far worse than she imagined. Far worse. And in less than a month, Emeka will do something that will shock the entire city of Aba. Something that will make headlines. Something that will leave Onyi fighting not only for her marriage, but for her name, her dignity, and her home. The hotel receipt has exposed Emeka's secret connection with Sandra. But before Onyi can confront him, a legal document is already being prepared behind closed doors. A document that could destroy everything she sacrificed her life to build. Don't go anywhere. I'm coming back. Onyi did not sleep that night. The hotel receipt lay on the table before her. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the names again. Sandra Okafor, Barrister Emeka Obi, 1 room, 1 weekend. By dawn, her eyes were swollen from tears she had tried hard to suppress. Yet, she still hoped there was an explanation. Maybe it was business. Maybe there was a mistake. Maybe she was overthinking. After all, this was Emeka, the man she had loved for 15 years, the man she had starved for, the man she had believed in when nobody else did. Surely he wouldn't betray her. Surely. When Emeka entered the dining room that morning, he found Onyi waiting. The receipt was on the table. Immediately, his face hardened. He knew the secret was out. Onyi pushed the paper toward him. What is this? Silence. What is this, Emeka? He sat down slowly. For several seconds, he said nothing. Then he sighed. It's not what you think. The answer felt rehearsed, like he had practiced it before. Onyi's voice trembled. Then explain. It was a business trip. A business trip with one hotel room? Emeka looked away. That told her everything. The room suddenly became quiet, painfully quiet. The kind of silence that exists when a marriage begins to die. Finally, Onyi spoke. Who is Sandra? Emeka stood up. I don't have time for this. Who is Sandra? The force of her voice shook even her. Emeka froze. For a brief moment, guilt appeared in his eyes. Then it vanished, replaced by irritation. You are making a scene. Onyi stared at him. A scene? Tears rolled down her face. I sold fish to keep you in school. He remained silent. I sold my earrings. Silence. I borrowed money. Silence. I suffered beside you. Still silence. The more she spoke, the colder he became. Finally, he grabbed his car keys. We will discuss this later. The door slammed shut behind him. And Onyi knew something had changed. Something terrible. The following week became unbearable. Emeka stopped coming home regularly. Calls went unanswered. Messages remained unread. Sometimes he disappeared for days. Whenever Onyi asked questions, arguments followed. The loving husband she once knew was disappearing before her eyes. In his place stood a stranger wearing Emeka's face. Then came the morning that changed everything. The morning Onyi would remember for the rest of her life. She was arranging fish at her stall when a black SUV stopped nearby. People immediately noticed. Luxury cars rarely entered that section of the market. A man stepped out. He wore an expensive suit, carried a briefcase, walked directly toward her. Madam Onyi. She frowned. Yes? He handed her a large envelope. Please sign here. What is it? I am not authorized to discuss it. A strange feeling gripped her chest. Her fingers trembled as she opened the envelope. Then the world stopped. Divorce petition. The world stared back at her. Cold, cruel, unforgiving. The basin of fish slipped from her hands. Fish scattered across the muddy ground. Women rushed toward her. Onyi, what happened? What is wrong? But she could not answer. Her eyes remained fixed on the document. Paragraph after paragraph, every sentence felt like a knife. She read, the petitioner seeks the solution of the marriage due to incompatibility. She continued reading. Then she saw the accusations, and her heart shattered completely. According to the petition, she was uneducated. She was uncivilized. She embarrassed him publicly. She contributed nothing meaningfully to his success. She lacked the class required of a lawyer's wife. She was a burden, a liability, an obstacle. Onyi could barely breathe. The crowd around her watched helplessly. Mama Nkechi grabbed the papers. Her eyes widened. What nonsense is this? The women read the accusations, one after another. Shock spread across the market. Some began crying, others became angry. One elderly trader spat on the floor. God forbid! Another shouted, this man has no shame. But Onyi had none of it. Her mind remained trapped on one sentence. She contributed nothing meaningful to my success. Nothing meaningful after 15 years. Nothing meaningful. That evening, the entire market talked about only one thing. Barrister Emeka had divorced the woman who sponsored him. News spread quickly through Aba. Churches discussed it. Taxi drivers discussed it. Beer parlors discussed it. Even social media picked up the story. People were outraged, yet Emeka remained silent. Not once did he call. Not once did he apologize. Not once did he explain. 3 days later, matters became worse, far worse. A television interview appeared online. Emeka sat beside Sandra, elegant, confident, comfortable. The interviewer smiled. "Barrister Emeka, there are rumors about your marriage." Emeka adjusted his tie. Then he said the words that will destroy whatever remained of Onyi's heart. "I have worked hard all my life." The interviewer nodded. "Everything I have achieved came through discipline and determination." Onyi watched from her neighbor's phone, frozen, unable to believe her ears. Then Emeka continued, "I built myself." Those 3 words hit harder than the divorce papers because they erased her completely. Every sacrifice, every loan, every tear, every struggle gone as if she had never existed. That night, Onyi sat alone in darkness. The divorce papers rested beside her. For hours, she stared at them. Then suddenly, she remembered something. A wooden box, an old wooden box hidden beneath her bed. She rushed inside, pulled it out, opened it. Inside were receipts, old bank slips, loan agreements, school payment records, letters, documents she had kept for years, evidence, proof of every sacrifice she made, proof of every payment, proof of every lie. As she turned the pages, tears filled her eyes. Then she found something else, something she had completely forgotten, a document connected to the land she sold years ago, the land Emeka never knew about. The document contained a secret, a very dangerous secret, one that could destroy everything Emeka had built. And for the first time since receiving the divorce papers, Onyi smiled. Hidden among the cool documents is evidence connected to the land Onyi sold to fund Emeka's education. What she had just discovered could expose years of lies and turn the divorce case upside down. Will she finally fight back? Or is Emeka already too powerful to stop? Don't go anywhere. Let's take this breather. For the first time since the divorce papers arrived, Onyi felt something other than pain. She felt hope, small, fragile, but real. The old wooden box sat open before her. Inside were pieces of a life nobody had bothered to notice. Receipts, bank slips, loan records, school payment confirmations, letters, documents, evidence, proof that she had been there from the beginning. Proof that Emeka's success had not fallen from the sky. Proof that somebody had paid the price, and that somebody was her. The next morning, Onyi spread the documents across her bed. One by one, she examined them carefully. Each paper carried a memory, a painful memory, a beautiful memory, a memory she once treasured. Now they felt like weapons. Weapons she never wanted to use, until she reached a brown envelope hidden beneath the others. She frowned. She had almost forgotten it existed. The envelope contained documents related to the family land she sold years ago. The same land her father left behind. The same land she secretly sold to pay Emeka's final tuition and law school expenses. As she unfolded the papers, something caught her attention, a signature. Then another. Then a date. Her eyes widened. No! She checked again and again. The date remained the same. The buyer's signature remained the same. Suddenly her breathing became heavy. The buyer of the land had not been a stranger. The buyer was Emeka's uncle, Chief Nnamdi Obi, one of the wealthiest men in Anambra State. A man Emeka respected deeply, a man who attended their wedding, a man who knew everything, or so she thought. Immediately, Onyi grabbed her phone. Her hands trembled as she dialed the number. The line rang several times. Finally, an elderly voice answered. Hello? Uncle Nnamdi? Who is this? It's Onyi. A brief silence followed. Then the old man's voice softened. My daughter. The kindness in his tone almost made her cry. How are you? Onyi struggled to speak. Uncle, I need your help. 2 days later, she traveled to Oka. That journey felt endless. Throughout the trip, she wondered if she was making a mistake. Maybe she should simply sign the divorce papers and move on. Maybe fighting back would only bring more pain. But every time doubt appeared, she remembered the words. She contributed nothing meaningful to my success. Those words pushed her forward. Chief Nnamdi welcomed her warmly. His large compound stood in sharp contrast to the life she now lived. Servants moved around quietly. Luxury cars lined the driveway, yet the old man remained humble. As soon as he saw her swollen eyes, his smile disappeared. What happened? Onyi handed him the divorce petition. The old man adjusted his glasses, began reading. With every page, his face darkened. By the time he finished, anger burned in his eyes. What nonsense is this? Onyi lowered her head. Chief Nnamdi slammed the papers onto the table. He wrote this? She nodded. The old man stood up abruptly. No! What do you mean? No! His voice shook. My nephew cannot be this ungrateful. He is. Chief Nnamdi stared at the wall. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then suddenly he asked, Did he tell you where the money came from? What money? The final tuition payment? Onyi frowned. What do you mean? Now it was the old man's turn to look confused. The room became silent, dangerously silent. Slowly, Chief Nnamdi opened a drawer. He removed a file, placed it on the table, then he pushed it toward her. Read. Onyi opened it. Her heart nearly stopped. Inside was a transfer record. Years ago, the amount matched the money she received from selling her father's land. Attached to it was a handwritten note. She recognized the handwriting immediately. It belonged to Emeka. The note read, Uncle, thank you for helping us. Please don't tell Onyi about this arrangement. I want her to believe the land was sold below market value. If she discovers the actual amount, she may refuse. Onyi's hands froze. She continued reading. Then the shocking truth emerged. The land she sold had not been worth 5 million naira. It had been worth nearly 30 million. 30 million! Her vision blurred. She nearly fell from her chair. The old man sighed heavily. I thought you knew. I knew what? Chief Nnamdi looked devastated. Emeka asked me to buy the land through intermediaries. Onyi stared at him, unable to speak, unable to breathe, unable to think. He said the money was needed urgently for his education. The old man shook his head sadly. He promised he would tell you the truth later. Tears rolled down Onyi's cheeks. Years of sacrifice suddenly looked different. The land had been sold for a fraction of its value, and Emeka had known the entire time. But the worst revelation was yet to come. Chief Nnamdi reached into the file again. This time, he produced another document, a property agreement. Onyi glanced at it casually, then froze. The house she and Emeka currently lived in. The house Emeka was trying to take from her. The house listed in the divorce proceedings. The house she believed belonged to Emeka did not belong to Emeka at all. It was purchased using proceeds from her land sale. And the ownership documents contained a clause nobody had noticed for years, a clause that made her the legal beneficiary. The house was legally hers, not Emeka's, not jointly owned, hers. Chief Nnamdi looked directly into her eyes. My daughter, he paused, then delivered the words that changed everything. If these documents are genuine, and they appear to be, Emeka may have lied to the court. The room fell silent. Onyi felt her heartbeat pounding inside her chest. A lawyer lying in court, submitting false claims, concealing evidence, attempting to seize property that wasn't his. The consequences could be devastating, not just for the divorce case, for his entire legal career. That evening, as Onyi prepared to leave, Chief Nnamdi placed a hand on her shoulder. "You have two choices." She looked up. "You can walk away," she paused, "or you can fight." For the first time in weeks, Onyi's eyes burned with determination instead of tears. She clutched the file tightly. The same woman who once sold fish to build a man's future was about to step into a courtroom and defend her own. What neither she nor Chief Nnamdi knew was that Emeka had already made another dangerous move. A move so reckless that when it became public, even Sandra would begin to question the man she thought she knew. And by the next court hearing, a witness nobody expected would walk into that courtroom. A witness carrying a secret capable of bringing Emeka's entire empire crashing down. Onyi has discovered that the land she sacrificed was secretly undervalued and that the house Emeka wants to seize may legally belong to her. But an unexpected witness is about to emerge. Someone who knows exactly how Emeka climbed to success and what he did to hide the truth. Will the courtroom become Emeka's greatest triumph, or the place where everything falls apart? I'm coming back. Don't worry, don't go anywhere. The court hearing attracted more people than anyone expected. By 8 o'clock that morning, the courthouse was already crowded. Journalists stood outside with cameras. Lawyers moved in and out of the building. Curious residents gathered in groups. Even traders from Ariaria Market closed their shops temporarily just to witness the case. Everyone wanted to see what would happen. The story had spread beyond Aba. A poor fish seller against a successful lawyer. A wife against a husband. A sacrifice against betrayal. It had become the talk of the town. Onyi arrived quietly. She wore a simple blue gown, no expensive jewelry, no makeup, no designer handbag. Yet there was something different about her. The fear that had once filled her eyes was gone. In its place stood determination. She carried a black file close to her chest. Inside were the documents that could change everything. As she entered the courtroom, whispers followed her. That's her, that's how. That's the woman who trained him. Poor thing. God will fight for her. Onyi ignored them. Today was not about pity. Today was about truth. Minutes later, Emeka arrived. The atmosphere changed immediately. His expensive suit fit perfectly. His polished shoe reflected the courtroom lights. Sandra walked beside him, elegant as always, confident as always. Together they looked powerful, untouchable. Emeka noticed Onyi. Their eyes met briefly. Once upon a time, that look would have contained love. Today it contained only distance. He looked away first. The judge entered. Everyone rose. The hearing began. Emeka's lawyer stood first. A smooth-talking senior advocate known for winning difficult cases. He adjusted his glasses, then smiled. "My lord, this is a simple matter." Simple. The word made several people in the gallery frown. The lawyer continued. "My client seeks only the dissolution of a marriage that has become impossible to sustain." He painted Onyi as an obstacle, a woman unable to fit into Emeka's new world, a woman who contributed little, a woman holding on to a relationship that had already died. Every sentence felt carefully crafted. Every word felt calculated. By the time he finished, some people in the courtroom looked sympathetic toward Emeka, exactly as planned. Then it was Onyi's turn. Her lawyer rose slowly. Barrister Adobe Nwosu a sharp-minded woman with a reputation for exposing lies. She walked calmly toward the center of the courtroom. Then she spoke. "My lord, opposing counsel described this matter as simple." She paused. "It is anything but simple." The courtroom became quiet. Adobe continued. "This case is about gratitude." Another pause. "It is about truth." She looked directly at Emeka. "And it is about whether a man can rewrite history simply because success has made him uncomfortable." A rumor spread through the courtroom. The judge immediately called for silence. Adobe began presenting evidence: school fees receipts, loan records, payment confirmations, bank transfers, year after year, expense after expense, sacrifice after sacrifice. The judge examined them carefully. Emeka remained expressionless, but inside, panic was beginning to grow because he had not expected this much documentation. Then Adobe produced another file, a land sale documents. The courtroom grew silent. Chief Nnamdi sat in the gallery watching, his face stern, his disappointment obvious. The judge reviewed the papers. Questions followed, more questions. Then, even more questions. Suddenly, the divorce case no longer looked simple. It was becoming complicated, dangerously complicated. Sandra shifted uncomfortably. This wasn't the version of the story Emeka had told her. He had claimed Onyi was dependent on him. Yet, the documents suggested otherwise. Much otherwise. For the first time, doubt entered her mind. Then the judge asked a question. A simple question. One question that changed the atmosphere. "Does the respondent have witnesses?" Barrister Adobe smiled. "Yes, my lord." The courtroom doors opened. Everyone turned. A man entered slowly. Older, thin, gray-haired, walking with a cane. The moment Emeka saw him, the color drained from his face. "No!" The word escaped before he could stop it. Sandra looked at him. "Who is that?" Emeka didn't answer because he knew exactly who it was. Professor Okonkwo, the former dean of law, the man who supervised Emeka's final year project, the man who knew everything. A ripple of excitement spread through the courtroom. Nobody expected a witness of that caliber. Professor Okonkwo took the stand, swore his oath, then sat down. Barrister Adobe approached. "Professor, do you know Barrister Emeka Obi?" "I do." "How long have you known him?" "Over 15 years." "Would he have completed law school without financial support?" The professor laughed softly. "No." The answer echoed through the courtroom. Adobe continued. "Can you explain?" The professor adjusted his glasses, then revealed something nobody expected. Years ago, Emeka had nearly been expelled. Not once, twice, for unpaid tuition. The courtroom erupted. Even the judge looked surprised. "Order!" The judge banged his gavel repeatedly. "Order!" When silence finally returned, the professor continued. The university gave him extensions because his wife repeatedly made payments. Every eye turned toward Onyi. The professor pointed gently toward her. That woman. More rumors, more shock, more disbelief. But then the professor dropped a bombshell, a devastating bombshell. The final tuition payment was personally delivered by her. The courtroom froze. The professor looked directly at Emeka. "I remember because she arrived soaked from rain." Silence. She begged the university not to remove his name from the graduation list. Onyi lowered her head. Tears filled her eyes. The memory was still painful. The professor's voice softened. She said she would rather starve than watch him lose his dream. Several people in the gallery began wiping tears. Even some court staff looked emotional. Sandra stared at Emeka. Her expression had changed completely. This wasn't the man she thought she knew. This wasn't the self-made lawyer she admired. This was a man whose success stood on someone else's sacrifice, and he had hidden it. All of it. Then Barrister Adobe smiled. She wasn't finished. Not even close. My lord, with your permission, we have one more document. She held up a sealed envelope. The courtroom became silent again. Chief Nnamdi immediately recognized it. Emeka recognized it too, and terror flashed across his face because he knew exactly what was inside the handwritten letter. The letter proving he knew the true value of Onyi's land. The letter he prayed will never be found. As Adobe slowly opened the envelope, Emeka's hands began to shake beneath the table. For the first time since the case began, he looked afraid, very afraid. The courtroom has learned that Onyi personally saved Emeka's legal career years ago, but the most dangerous evidence has yet to be revealed. A handwritten letter that could prove Emeka deliberately deceived both his wife and the court. When the contents are read aloud, will his marriage be the only thing he loses? Or will his entire career collapse with it? We will soon find out. The courtroom was so quiet that the sound of paper unfolding seemed louder than normal. Everyone watched. Everyone waited. Barrister Adobe held the letter carefully. Across the room, Emeka sat frozen. His jaw tightened. His palms grew sweaty. For years he had hoped this letter would never surface. For years he believed it was buried forever. Now it sat in the hands of the one person determined to expose him. My lord, Adobe began. This document was recovered from records connected to the sale of a property belonging to Mrs. Onyi Obi. She paused. The authenticity of the handwriting has already been verified. The judge nodded. You may proceed. Adobe unfolded the letter completely. Then she began reading. The courtroom listened carefully. Every word struck like a hammer. Uncle, thank you for helping us. Please do not tell Onyi the actual value of the land. If she discovers the real amount, she may refuse to sell. We can tell her a lower figure for now and explain later. Silence. Complete silence. The words hung in the air, heavy, damaging, impossible to explain away. Adobe continued reading. Once I establish myself, I will compensate her. Several people gasped. Sandra covered her mouth. Chief Nnamdi lowered his head. The judge removed his glasses, then slowly put them back on. Emeka felt his heart pounding violently. He wanted to speak, wanted to interrupt, wanted to deny it, but he couldn't. The letter was his. The handwriting was his. The signature was his. For the first time since becoming a lawyer, he felt powerless. Barrister Adobe stepped forward. Barrister Emeka, did you write this letter? Emeka remained silent. The judge looked up. You are under oath. The silence stretched. Finally, Emeka spoke. Yes. A murmur swept through the courtroom. The judge immediately called for order, but the damage had already been done. The truth was out. Adobe wasn't finished. She approached him again. Did your wife know the true value of her land? No. Did you tell her? No. Did you benefit from the proceeds? Emeka swallowed. Yes. And yet you informed this court that she contributed nothing meaningful to your success. No answer. The courtroom watched him closely. The once confident lawyer suddenly looked very small. Then Adobe delivered the question that shattered him. Barrister Emeka, if your wife had refused to sell that land, would you have completed your legal education? Emeka stared at the table. His voice barely emerged. No. The courtroom erupted. Even the judge struggled to restore order. People shook their heads. Others whispered angrily. Some simply stared in disbelief. The entire foundation of Emeka's case had collapsed. Sandra sat motionless. Every lie was unraveling before her eyes. Everything Emeka told her now sounded false. He had described himself as self-made. He had described Onyi as a burden. He had claimed she was holding him back. Yet the evidence showed the opposite. Without Onyi, there would have been no lawyer, no law firm, no luxury lifestyle, no Sandra, nothing. The judge called for a brief recess. As people filed out, journalists rushed to their phones. News spread rapidly. Social media exploded. Headlines appeared within minutes. Lawyer admits wife funded his education. Divorce case takes dramatic turn. Hidden letter exposes shocking deception. Across Aba, people followed every update. At Ariaria market, traders gathered around phones. Customers forgot shopping. Everyone wanted to know what would happen next. During the break, Sandra approached Emeka. Her face was cold, very cold. Why didn't you tell me? Emeka sighed heavily. It's complicated. No. She shook her head. It isn't. He reached for her hand. She stepped back. The movement hurt more than any question. You lied to me too. Sandra, you built our relationship on half-truths. Emeka opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Because for once, there was nothing left to say. Meanwhile, Onyi sat quietly beside Barrister Adobe. The lawyer smiled. You did well, Onyi nodded. But strangely, she felt no joy, only sadness. Years ago, she would have gladly given her life for Emeka. Now she was sitting in court watching him destroy himself. It wasn't victory. It wasn't tragedy. When proceedings resumed, everyone returned to their seats. The judge reviewed the evidence carefully. Then he spoke. His voice carried authority. This court is deeply concerned by the inconsistencies that have emerged. The room became still. Very deeply concerned. He glanced at Emeka. The lawyer could barely meet his eyes. Then the judge continued. The court will require additional testimony regarding the ownership of the disputed property. Immediately, excitement returned to the room. Everyone knew what that meant. The house Emeka was trying to take. The house that might legally belong to Onyi. Barrister Adobe smiled slightly. The property documents were ready. Chief Nnamdi was ready, the witnesses were ready, and the truth was ready. But before the next hearing could begin, another surprise emerged. A young man entered the courtroom carrying a brown envelope. He walked directly toward Adobe, whispered something into her ear. The lawyer's eyes widened. For the first time all day, she looked genuinely shocked. What is it? Onyi asked. Adobe stared at the envelope, then slowly looked toward Emeka. What happened? Onyi repeated. The lawyer took a deep breath. This changes everything. What is inside? Adobe's voice dropped to a whisper. A bank record. Onyi frowned. A bank record of what? Adobe's expression darkened. It appears your husband didn't just hide the value of your land. She paused, then delivered words that sent a chill through Onyi's body. It appears he may have stolen part of the money too. Just when Emeka's lies seem fully exposed, a newly discovered bank record suggests something even worse. Money from Onyi's land sale may have been secretly diverted into accounts she never knew existed. If proven, the divorce case could become a financial scandal, and Emeka's legal career may never recover. The courtroom was packed beyond capacity. People stood in the corridors. Others watched through open windows. Even the security officers struggled to control the crowd. Nobody wanted to miss the final hearing. For months, the case had dominated conversations across Aba and beyond. Today, everything will be decided. Emeka looked exhausted. The confident lawyer who once walked into court with his head high was gone. His law firm was already losing clients. Social media had turned against him. Several business partners had quietly withdrawn. And Sandra? Sandra was nowhere to be seen. 3 weeks earlier, she had ended their relationship without drama, without explanation, without looking back. The moment she discovered the truth, she left. Just as quickly as she had entered his life, Onyi sat quietly beside Barrister Adobe. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't celebrating. She simply wanted peace. The endless nights of crying had drained her. The endless hearings had exhausted her. She no longer cared about revenge. She only wanted justice. The judge entered. Everyone rose. After reviewing the final documents, he adjusted his glasses and began speaking. The courtroom became silent, painfully silent. This court has examined all evidence presented. He paused. The evidence clearly establishes that Mrs. Onyi Obi made substantial financial sacrifices toward the education and professional development of Barrister Emeka Obi. Several people nodded. The judge continued. The court further finds that material facts were deliberately withheld during these proceedings. Every eye turned toward Emeka. The evidence regarding the sale of Mrs. Onyi Obi's family land is particularly disturbing. The judge lifted one of the documents. This court accepts that the proceeds of that land sale contributed significantly to the acquisition of the disputed property. He looked directly at Onyi. Therefore, the property in question shall remain the legal possession of Mrs. Onyi Obi. The courtroom erupted. Cheers, applause, cries of joy. The judge immediately restored order, but tears were already streaming down Onyi's face, not because of the house, because for the first time in months, somebody had publicly acknowledged the truth. Then came the final blow. The bank records, the hidden transfers, the missing funds, the money secretly moved into accounts unknown to Onyi. The judge's expression hardened. The court finds the conduct of Barrister Emeka Obi deeply unethical. Emeka lowered his head. The relevant authorities are advised to review these findings. The meaning was clear. His legal career was now under serious threat. The judgment ended. The gavel struck. The case was over. At last, finally, over. Outside the courtroom, journalists rushed toward Onyi. Microphones stretched toward her. Questions came from every direction. Madam Onyi, how do you feel? What message do you have for women? Do you forgive him? For a moment, she said nothing. Then she looked toward the courtroom doors. Emeka was emerging slowly, alone, broken, defeated. The same man she once loved, the same man she once believed could never hurt her. A reporter repeated the question, "Do you forgive him?" Onyi took a deep breath. Then she answered, "Forgiveness and trust are not the same thing." The crowd became silent. "I forgive him." A few people gasped, "But I cannot return to where God has delivered me from." Those words spread across social media. Within hours, millions would eventually hear them. 1 year later, a large crowd gathered at the opening of a modern fish processing factory. The company name stood boldly on the building, Onyi Foods Limited. Workers moved about proudly. Television crews recorded the event. Business leaders attended. The woman who once sold fish from a basin had become a respected entrepreneur, not because somebody rescued her, but because she refused to stay broken. During the ceremony, a black car stopped across the road. A man remained inside, watching quietly. It was Emeka. Life had humbled him. His expensive confidence was gone. His reputation had never fully recovered. And every day he lived with one painful truth. He had lost the best thing that ever happened to him. From a distance, he watched Onyi receive an award. The audience applauded. Cameras flashed. She looked happy, genuinely happy, for the first time in years. As she prepared to leave, their eyes met briefly. Onyi recognized him immediately. For a moment, neither moved. Then Emeka lowered his head, filled with regret, filled with shame, filled with memories he could never undo. Onyi simply smiled, not a smile of mockery, not a smile of victory, a smile of peace, the kind of peace that comes when wounds finally heal. Then she turned and walked back toward her future without looking back. Moral lessons. Never be ashamed of the people who stood beside you when you had nothing. Success does not reveal character, it exposes it. And a person who forgets the hands that lifted them may one day discover that gratitude is worth far more than wealth.